Hi, it's 7 p.m. Pacific Daylight Saving Time. I'll read some more of The Adventures of Rebazar Tarz. New Book 4 by Dwayne the Great Writer. You arrogant fool, I would gladly tell you nothing besides Shar, and I will be in the real universes as soon as you do away with us, I said, hoping he would lighten up a bit. Guards, blast them both, yelled Callum, with both of his lizard-armed fists pointed at me. Then Shar grabbed me and put her face to mine and said, "Dwayne, kiss me fast." Then I woke up with a jerking motion like the experience many people have when they are falling in their dreams. I was suddenly sweating and whining like a baby as I looked over the experience I just had. "What was that?" I said out loud as Shar awoke and quickly sat up and held me. "That was us with Callum, Dwayne. I was there with you and I saw everything. He is using his hypno tricks to try and fool us into an agreement with him. You must always pay attention and be aware of his trickery. Fear is his greatest weapon, just like all the systems of the earth are based upon fear and intimidation. He uses the fear to get you to agree. If fear will not work, then he does the seduction routine, the same way he used Crony on Gerald. It's an old story, but unaware humans buy it all the time, thinking that it can never happen to them. I had to kiss you to get your attention from his influential grasp," she said as she hung on to me. "I really like that part, Miss Shar. You are a good kisser. Whatever happened to all the fun dreams I used to have where I would go to the ocean and stare at the sun?" I mumbled as I was trying to calm myself down. "I used to have dreams like that too, as a little girl, where I would fly all the time. But now I am always dealing with the dark forces because of my intent for my parents. This is how the Callum works on everyone. He gets a person to be concerned about something, and then a flood of misconception follows until the person is so absorbed in their illusions, then there never seems to be a way out. This is also how the space-time frames work. I have seen how the deceptors do their illusions to the agreement on others and box people in until they are definitely squares. There is no real power in the psychic worlds except for agreement. The power that people look to or want to have in their lives is a deception of the controlling space gods. The end result will always be nothing. When you are standing outside of the space-time frames, it is like watching a movie, but when you decide they are a real occurrence, then the drama becomes real to you and you are caught up in it. Callum has promoted all of the lunatic on Earth to all the planets and systems in the physical realm from his kingdom, because he can control all the levels from his own position with it. I observed how the deceptors implant ideas into the mental and emotional bodies of so many willing people with their tap lines. On Earth today, it is even easier for them because of the internet and people's obsessions with their cell phones. Once a person is really hooked on the ideas of the deceptors, they are usually unable to unhook themselves. An obvious example would be with many of the big producers and movie stars that have tap lines all through them. because they create bizarre dramas that the masses have become used to, and they live off of the reactions that others produce from their phenomena. The entertainment industry has flourished because most people love some form of phenomena and actually want to be controlled by it. And so there are big profits and big glamour in producing illusions to control others. You and the real guides have the right idea about things, Dwayne. You live in the dream worlds of the space gods on the earth, but you are aware of what is taking place, and you are providing a real benefit for others from the is. You have the hardest job to do because you always have to deal with people that are so convinced about their illusions of the gods they worship and the temporary physical life they seem to think is all there is. Those people really do love their drama and love to wallow with it until they are drowning in it. And even then they will not give it up. For them, no matter what they decide, the Callum God will usher them to some place in his kingdom after their earthly life is over, and then use what he can from them and then throw them back into the darkness of another unconscious lifetime on a space rock like Earth. Callum loves to promote people into so-called high places. It can be to a political platform or some form of social status to where people expand their egos to the idea of being above others and be better than anyone else. Some people in the public eye really do have a heart for others, but are usually caught by the other sides of Callum to where they service people for their personal needs only. This idea can also keep a person tap-lined into the deceptors, because these people usually worship or pray to some form of decided god. Isn't it ironic how the corrupt politicians, the deceptive religious rulers, the mafia, and all forms of gangster types, along with noted social icons and stars, all go to their designated church and worship the same space gods? And when these people go back to their homes and their so-called normal lives, they simply continue on with their illusion-making corruption. Lies and murders like it is business as usual. Yet while they are out in public, they do put on a good show so that they have a continuous support from others. This is why the lords of karma have such a load to deal with, because there are trillions of unaware souls agreeing to all the marketing trickery that is taking place. All the years I have been in this mental realm and learned what I have from this side of the curtain most people will never see has become the greatest of lessons for me. The Callum God has no idea what I know and how I can perceive. Because I have had to deal with Crony all these years, she has actually taught me the most. She is so profound with the influential way about her. She loves to talk about herself and how she subdues people into her net of suggestive whims. I have watched her totally wrap herself around Gerald until he became a puppy dog to her on a leash. I remember the class you had when you first had the rod of power and your friends were being shown by the real guides what Crony was doing to Gerald. Gerald was also being shown, but he chose not to look at himself because he wanted something that he really could never have, her and the membership. He thought by allowing her to assist him that his life would be happy ever after. Well, he still does not see what is taking place with her, and now he has been fooled because he has become obsessed with himself as the spiritual master. Dwayne, you have made a wise decision and a bold move into a new universe of possibilities by not accepting the old labels of the space gods. I have seen how the application of the idea of certain labels is connected to the dark forces. They have slyly taken over the connections from any higher sources and diverted them to serve the Kalam, because of the willingness of those that are looking for agreement of any kind. Most people follow the old God idea because they want to belong in their social order instead of investigating what is really taking place from the invisible side and all the influences that are occurring. You, on the other hand, are not looking for anything and actually want nothing, but you want to provide the most wonderful expression of information to help people see their own demise over the unconscious lifetimes they have spent on Earth. The real guides want you to bring this knowledge out while there is still time left, because I have seen the future of the Earth and future lifetimes will not be good. Even the Kalam cannot control the destruction that is taking place with the physical realm today because of the alien influence that exists. When the corrupt politicians of the past made agreements with the dark aliens to get their technology, they had no idea what the future would bring, but now they are living in it. Even the rulers of the earth are concerned that their black hearts are more important to them, and so they think that they can protect themselves from the fate they have created. They are fools. They will return as half human and half alien, and will eventually become creatures like Crony, all scaly and distorted like Gollum in Lord of the Rings. If they pay attention to the new presentation you are creating and they make their way to the point of getting the real connection, then a real change can occur for so many of the Earth people as they become more aware. But it will take real courage on the part of those that can perceive what you are presenting to actually do something real. The chaotic phenomena that exist today with the music and the visual productions is mainly from the aliens, because they live off of the emotions and the emotional instabilities of people that are unaware. They like to herd people with sounds that are mainly from the lower astral worlds of containment. The radical noise and the disgusting words of the music that have become so popular among the young and naive are one of the areas that are adding to the downfall of the human race. Did you ever see beautiful Indians involved in such nonsense, or young children that love the butterflies and birds? To enjoy something is one thing, but to make it into a culture to where people are mainly drugged by it, what is the benefit? From all that I have been through and seen, the only real value is having the real connection and getting to the 7th level of the sound light reality. Oh, and by the way, I like how you call me Miss. It's great, she said, as she held me and kissed me again. Wow, Miss Shar, that was great. Can I quote you? You sound like me when I get going, I said, as I felt a lot better listening to her as she laughed with me. Let's go out and find something to eat, she said, as we got to our feet and stepped outside to a clear, sunny day as the suns were coming up. This place is so wonderful with the entire creativeness that has been done. I do love it here, but my heart longs to complete why I am here, so it is sometimes hard to enjoy, she said as she ate an apple. I hear what you are saying, young lady, My life on earth has only one purpose, and that is to free as many unaware people as possible. I always have so many obstacles to surmount, even with those people I have taught and are having experiences. They seem to always wait for me to decide something instead of stepping forward and contributing and being resourceful. When Paul produced his presentation on the earth, I immediately went overboard with it and went out into the public, but most of the people I have shared this gift with just continually ask me more questions instead of listening and learning and doing. I was rather shy in my younger days, but I still decided to do public presentations even though it was very nerve-wracking for me. Eventually, I loved meeting the public because I was learning so much about myself and seeing so many succeed with what I was presenting them. The real guides would always give at least one experience in the beginning with those I was teaching. I would also experience people wanting more experiences and not fully realizing they had to step forward and do something and also be patient. The real guides are doers, and they do not wait for others to perform because they know how unreliable the human awareness is. Human history, which most people do not properly understand or evaluate in any real sense, has demonstrated what the human awareness is mainly interested in: nothing of lasting value. Instead of producing something beneficial, the average social creature would rather watch worthless TV shows like soap operas and competitive sports and drink alcohol to get their buzz. Human adults are usually demonstrating to their offspring what has no real value, and then they wonder why their children act as they do. Real survival is first, then maybe a little silliness, but it is all chaos and stress in an overly creative society, and people love it. I said as I watched Shar with her loveliness move about. You are funny, Dwayne. When this is over, why don't you stay here with me and we will plan our future in the real universes. We will find a place to be all our own. I know so many places. The Callum never looks, she said as she kissed me. To be honest, there is nothing more I would rather do, especially with you, Miss Shar. But I want to finish what I was asked to do by the real guides as a humble gift for them and all those that are watching to learn about them. I so love the is, that there is nothing I would not do for it. And so in my heart I cannot put myself first. You and I will be together as long as I have a mental body in this realm, I said, looking at her beautiful face as she smiled at me. Ha ha, you are so cute, surfer boy. What about Heather? You know she comes around here sometimes with you, she said as she giggled. Oh, her, well, we can hide from her and she will not find us. She likes the deception of the 3 lower levels, and so for the most part she has very little time to be overly concerned because she is too busy with her Martha Stewart routine along with all the other icons of TV and all the funny things they like to create, I said laughingly as I was thinking about her. Let's take a short walk and I will show you something you will like, she said as she took my hand and we walked through the trees. Shar led me to another part of the mountain. As we came to a bit of a clearing, she pointed along the face of the mountainside. What I saw was really neat. There was a huge opening about 20 feet straight up and the side where the bees and butterflies were coming and going. On this level, all the natural creatures live in harmony with one another. You will never see bees and butterflies on the earth together like this. They actually work together here to produce their own type of honey that is not found anywhere else. If a human were to eat what they make, it would cure them of anything that ails them, including all forms of cancer. It would even make them young again. These little creatures produce one of the many fountain of youths that are available, but you and I have the best one of all. The real connection, she said as she took my hand and kissed it. I will read some more of The Adventures of Rebazar Tarz, new book 4 by Dwayne the Great Writer, tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Pacific Daylight Saving Time. See ya.